very good evening and welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now, where we had a very interesting conversation with 4 entrepreneurs who shared their views on how entrepreneurial roles can start, how they've taken that path, the challenges that they face, with the most recent one, of course, being the COVID lockdown. Well, for all of you guys who are thinking what to do over the weekend, or if you'll have just become couch potatoes over the lockdown, here is an interesting tip: cycling. Now, if you've noticed, social media groups, your WhatsApp groups are seeing an increased activity of cycling tours around the city. And yes, around the city, because when else do you get such a rare occasion to have the roads relatively empty, the roads available actually for cyclists to reign supreme, as opposed to the usual humdrum of cars, lorries and motorcycles. But you may wonder that is it safe to do so in a city like this, where admittedly you still have a very, very high population, and thus there are still a certain number of cars that do tend to take the road. Well, to talk about cycling, to talk about how safe it is, to talk about the city and the country's cycling infrastructure, I have with me Firoza Suresh, an avid cycler herself, and she's also a director with the Smart Commute Foundation. She's run several campaigns like Cycle Chala City Bacha, with obviously the aim to essentially promote how green as well it is to cycle, not just on an occasion, but perhaps to work every single day. Firoza, really appreciate you joining us today on The Money Show. So I think I would like to first ask this very question that may be on a lot of our viewers' minds. It's okay for now, you have the lockdown, so there's a limited amount of, cars, etc. that are running on the road and plying on the road. But do you think it's possible really to incorporate cycling on the roads as a daily routine, especially in a city like Metro?
So basically, when we talk about cycling, it depends upon a person, what he wants to, or he or she wants to pick cycling for, whether it is for recreational, fitness, endurance, or competitive. Or a person says, okay, fine, you know what, short commutes is doable on a bicycle. I will use it for commuting to work or running errands for my household. And there are a whole lot of cyclists, the invisible ones, the livelihood bicycles for each and every city of Mumbai. So it all depends upon a person, what or he or she is comfortable with. But for a city to evolve into a cycling city, it has to be a way of life, what we see in Amsterdam and Copenhagen. And that requires a lot of behavioral change. Okay, and that requires a lot of critical mass for a city to even demand an infrastructure, a cycle parking stand or cycle stands or cycle tracks for their city.
So we are obviously still, a little away from acquiring that kind of infrastructure which we do have in developed countries, and mind you, less congested, less dense countries as well, like Copenhagen, to a certain extent, Amsterdam as well. But the fact is that many people are taking up cycling. I mean, you as well had conducted a very interesting tour during Independence Day. We have some of those photographs as well, which really did look very interesting, Firoza. So yeah, when it comes to cycling, where are we? I want to talk about that. Do you think that in a city like Mumbai, it's possible to incorporate the kind of infrastructure that we have, in an Amsterdam or in a Copenhagen? I'm talking about, like you mentioned, the parking slots and things like that. And even having, for example, a separate track for cyclists. Roads over here are any which way so narrow. So, and I know you have this mission really to make, Mumbai and maybe perhaps India as well a little more cycle friendly.
Would have asked me this question 10 years back. Yes, it was too nascent. I would still feel cycling was more of a fad where people were getting into cycling, and all the lycra and recreational and all of that was pretty much what was happening in the cycling space. But I would feel that things have changed. gradually over a period of time, people have realized the benefits of cycling. I would also would say that even the central government, the state governments are pretty much in tune because of the pollution, congestion, and climatic change, and the emission, and all of that, with the conversation which is moving towards environment currently. So cycling definitely plays a very, very big role in it. So now with Ministry of Urban Housing also announcing Cycle for Change, 92 cities have participated in that to make their own cities cycling friendly. Now that's a very big movement which we are talking about. It was never heard of, but each and every city will contribute towards making their city cycling friendly. And each city has, I wouldn't say come to the stage of critical mass, but yes, everybody is striving towards it. I am part of a bicycle mayor program, which is led by a Dutch organization called Bikes. And globally, there are about 100 bicycle mayors across the globe. In India itself, we have 43 bicycle mayors. And there's a mandate which is called 50 by 30, which means 50% of the commute trips should be converted into cycling by 2030. Now, that's quite a lot of timeline which we have till 2030. So we have to plan those 10 years pretty much towards making cycling a way of life for each city. So for us in Mumbai, we have kept making Mumbai the cycling capital of India by 2030. Now that's a very ambitious plan or a vision to keep. So what we did is we started a campaign in Mumbai called Cycle Chala City Bacha. And Mumbai has like you rightly mentioned, it's a huge population of 20 million people. In fact, most of the cities in India is a country by itself. So how do you tackle, how do you convey the message of cycling? So we quickly realized that we need a ward level intervention. So we have 24 wards in Mumbai, and we announced a bicycle counselor program where each ward will have a bicycle counselor, so we can have a micro level managed engagement within each ward. So when we talk about pop-up bicycle lanes, we talk about cycle training, we talk about critical mass within the ward, talk about engaging with the authorities within that ward. You have that one person who's taking responsibility. And mind you, these are all cyclists. These are all passionate cyclists who really want to bring about the change. And yes, we got an overwhelming response from Mumbai. We got about 150, and we just recently on August 15, we announced the bicycle counselors, and that's the photographs which we had shared with you. So yes, we all are committed towards the vision. And that's what's been happening. In smart cities programs definitely are creating the avenues within that to make walking and cycling very, very popular. So things have changed, and I can see the positive change with this whole coronavirus also giving us the benefit that yes, it is a possibility that now the public and the social distancing is very much possible with cycling. Yeah.
True. Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's say if someone wants to start off cycling, maybe this weekend, they have a bike maybe lying with them that's probably just catching spider webs on it. What are your favorite routes to take in the city of Mumbai?
First of all, they need to buy a helmet, because that's we always say that it's better to be safe than have gone through some accident or whatever. It's just better to buy a helmet first. Yes, few good routes would be where there is less of motorized transportation if anybody is starting off first. Typically around your compound or near your area, if anything goes wrong, so at least you have someone, you can come back home, or all of that. So typically around your area, and would urge each one of you all to find a cycling group within your area, because if you're attached to a cycling group, and there are many mushrooming up, each locality has a cycling group now. So if you're attached to a cycling group, you know what, you just get few more buddies to ride with. So you can go along some trails. Like in Mumbai, we have RA, we have Worli Sea Phase, we have NCPA, and very lot of these historic routes in Mumbai where we go regularly. So that gives you a little confident eventually to maybe pick up cycling and go alone to run errands for your family, or maybe cycle to work or meet your friends eventually. But to ride with groups definitely gives you that confidence on the road that yes, I can do it.
Okay, well, excellent. So for all of our viewers watching, there you have it. If you've not taken up cycling, what are you waiting for? Not only does it have a great or zero environmental impact, it also helps you stay fit, which I reckon many of you while working from home have not been doing so, not been taking care much about your physical fitness and your routine. And yes, Firoza has a great plan, a very ambitious plan as well, that she hopes to achieve by 2030. And yes, Firoza, I as well hope so that I too can take out my bike and hopefully cycle all the way to work one day. Thank you so much, Firoza, and we wish you all the very best in all your endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it up on this very exciting edition. We'll wrap it up on this very exciting edition of The Money Show. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to tune right back into ET Now.